Well, do you have a stronghold of sexual sin in your life? And have you been finding it's very difficult to get out of that stronghold? Well, this is Jason for Soulfire. Here in this video, I got some good news for you regarding God's power to destroy strongholds, and I got some challenges for you of the reality of how difficult it can be to root them out of your life. Here on this channel, we want to bring gospel hope for a porn-filled world. And so let's dive into this topic of strongholds. Well, 2 Corinthians 10:4 says, "The weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds." This verse seems to give both good and bad news when it comes to the issue of sexual temptation, sexual addiction, and sexual sin. First, the good news: the weapons that God has given us are actually made to destroy strongholds. 1 Peter 1:3 says, "His divine power has granted to us everything we need for life and godliness." As I read the scriptures, I would say God has provided what we need to walk in holiness, to walk in purity. The scriptures make it clear it will not be easy, but God has given us weapons of His Word, His Spirit, and His church, fellowship and community of believers. We can win the battle for sexual integrity. However, this verse also points us to one serious reality of sexual sin. It uses the term strongholds. So the problem with strongholds is that they're strong. And the longer the stronghold has been in your life, the more difficult it will be to see freedom from that stronghold. You see, if you've had a sexual addiction, if you've had sexual sin in your life for years, maybe even decades. So as I share my story, I had a pornography addiction for the greater part of 10 years. And so it was extremely difficult to root that out of my life as I had had so many habits and just an ingrained pattern of falling into sexual sin, particularly pornography. Strongholds of the enemy are strong, and we need to take them seriously. So one of the realities of strongholds is that means that we shouldn't be discouraged if you've tried a number of things and yet you continue to struggle. If you've gone to counseling, if you've done confession, if you've tried to eliminate things from your life, maybe you've done some small group curriculum at church or in another arena. If you've done all those things and you say, hey, this is still an issue for me, it's not working, I would say it simply points you to the reality that you have a stronghold in your life. So don't be discouraged. Strongholds are strong. They can take time to overcome. It is a process. It can take years. Keep on fighting. Keep on having hope that God has given you the tools and resources that you need to find freedom. This brings up a good challenge for your life. If you would say, where I'm at right now is that there's a stronghold of sexual sin in my life, then you need to consider the reality that it is a stronghold that must be dealt with strongly. You need to take every opportunity that you can to destroy this in your life. So 3 things I can think about for you. First, to take an honest assessment. Where am I right now? What are the behaviors? What are the challenges that I'm facing? Is it addiction to fantasy, masturbation, pornography, acting out with other people, and sexual sin? What are the particular behaviors that you have right now? Where am I right now? Write it out, make it clear. Share that with a friend. Second thing would be to think through, how did I get here to this place of having a stronghold? Write out your story of addiction. What has gotten you to this place? Be willing to process the difficult things that you've journeyed through, how you're using pornography maybe as a medication to soothe the pain that's in your life. How did I get here? And third and finally, what are you going to do about it? What changes are you going to implement in order to root this stronghold out of your life? I don't believe that this stronghold is just going to disappear one day. Sometimes that happens. God does choose to do that, but it is typically a process. In fact, if you use something like the Conquer series, which is a men's curriculum for sexual addiction and sexual freedom, they say it's a 2 to 5 year journey, and that has been consistent with both my personal experience and men that I have coached towards sexual freedom myself. One of my favorite phrases is if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you look at where you're at right now and you would say there's a clear stronghold, but yet you are willing to make no changes in your life, well then chances are nothing will change. The good news is God has given us everything we need. Perhaps there's a small group community that you could join. Perhaps there are some significant boundaries that you need to root out of your life, some significant things that you need to keep out of your life to prevent this stronghold from growing and gaining momentum. I am convinced you can break free from this stronghold. But what do you think? Love to hear your comments down in the comment section. Is sexual sin, sexual addiction a stronghold that is in your life? What are some things you've done to try to eliminate that? And do you believe God has given us everything we need to walk in sexual purity and sexual wholeness? Well, this is Jason for Soulfire. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Like this video if it was helpful, and I will catch you in the next one.